Thank you, our esteemed listeners, for the vote of confidence in iRadio's brand as an independent broadcaster of news and information. Your vote of confidence has inspired our reporters and journalists to commit to the dissemination of accurate, verifiable, and credible news and programming to inform, educate, and entertain. As a result, iRadio's content has reached over 17 million people on Facebook, according to Facebook metrics for the last 3 years, a number larger than the population of South Sudan. Thank you for your continued feedback. For detailed news analysis, please check iRadio's website, www.iradio.org, and subscribe to or like iRadio's YouTube channel to get all our latest videos. iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
هل انت شاب وبتفتش عن برنامج تعليمي؟ زون 72 برنامج خاص لك انت، بيتم فيه مناقشة كتير من المواضيع اللي بخصك، وفيه انت ممكن كمان تعبر عن رأيك وتتواصل مع شباب بنفس تفكيرك. زون 72 بيجيكم في كل يوم السبت من الساعة 4 مساء للساعة 5 مساء على الهواء وعلى الإنترنت، فقط على iRadio، عينك على جنوب السودان.
Yes, good evening, listener of iRadio, and welcome to the Zone 72 Youth Program that comes to you every Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. I'm your host, Barry Johnson, and as usual, I also have with me Grace Amviko, who is our sign language interpreter, making the program an inclusive one. Zone 72 highlights on the rights and choices for all adolescent and youth, and it emphasizes on the three-pillared global strategy for adolescent and youth, putting young people at the center of sustainable development. Zone 72 Youth Program is in collaboration with the South Sudan Ministry of Health, South Sudan Nurses and Midwife Association, Shabab Le Shabab, Canadian Association of Midwives, and UNFPA. The program is made possible with support from the Global Affairs Canada. Well, to comment on today's program, you'll be calling us on our studio lines, that is 0911 or 0922 986 986, and for text messages, you send to 0913 986 986. You can also stream this broadcast live by logging onto our website, that is www.iradio.org, or on our Facebook page, that is iRadio. You can also stream this program on our YouTube channel, that is iRadio South Sudan. If you have questions about adolescent health, send us an email to youthzone72 or call 0922009497. We also have two hotlines and they're toll free. If you want to report on GBV, you can call 623, and if you want to report on adolescent health immediate, you call 885. Since it is still the Youth Month, today we'll be talking about the role of young people in nation building. The youth of South Sudan, who make up over 70% of the population, are not just the future of the nation, they are its most powerful force of transformation today. And their role in nation building is complex and essential for peace, development, and unity. And I'm pleased to be joined today by two amazing young leaders. I'm happy to have with me Elijah Manyok, who is chairperson-elect of the Bor Community Youth Association, and also Deng Jr., who is the chairperson of Twitch East Youth Association. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yes, it's good to have both of you in the studio. Congratulations first.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we were also supposed to have with us Engineer Mamer, but he apologized in the last minute. He will not be able to be with us on board, but we hope to have him another day. Yes, starting our program, let me start with Deng Jr. What does nation building mean to you personally, and how can young people actively shape South Sudan's future? Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Barry Johnson. National building is a complex term that will take us time actually to put together all the definitions. But I want to give it a very simple meaning. It's a collective responsibility of all the stakeholders who share a value in trying to make a better future. In terms of peace, in terms of peace through development, in terms of cohesion, national cohesion, in terms of economic empowerment of young people, inclusively actually, not only young people, but young people with different factors, like those with disabilities, those who are marginalized, those who are excluded in the national distribution of resources, and actually other perspective that we might think can lead to national building or nation building. Yeah.
Okay, yes, Elijah.
I think I'll agree with much of the definition shared by my brother. However, I would like to point out some key aspects of the nation building, and specifically I'd like to look at it from a perspective of nation building from the post-conflict point of view, which of course becomes more relevant to the context of South Sudan. Given the situation of South Sudan with a protracted crisis and conflict for years and ages, the nation building in this sense means a way of which the nation is brought together as a result of people coming together trying to build some social cohesion and reconciliation among different communities and coming together for the purposes of stability and development. That's what I could put it for now. But of course, it has a lot of diverse views from different contexts.
Okay, and also Elijah, let's talk a bit about the election that took place. So as youth leaders that were elected through a peaceful and free and fair elections, how was it organized? And also, what lessons can you recommend to other youth associations in the country from the campaigns to elections and also the post-election times?
Yeah, I'll talk from the experiences of the Boer Community Youth Association where I come from. As much as also we also wear and follow our colleagues and our sisterly organization from the Twitch East and Duke, which of course come as a result of the former Boer district, the three of us. So we monitor each other quite closely, and one thing that I've realized across the board is that the level of organization has been way more advanced, and I will not have a lot of statistics and facts on the other organization, but I could maybe narrow down on Boer.
Yes.
In Boer, of course, we as BCYA, we have evolved through a period of time, all the way from when we came to Juba, and that evolution came with a lot of different learning and changes that have happened. And in the case of the election, which involved myself, it was well organized because during the International Youth Day, I actually claimed that there is no single thing that could differentiate the election that was done by the Boer Community Youth Association and the national election, apart from maybe having white people. Because in that sense, the only difference that could have come as a result of having a national election in South Sudan is having EU ambassadors or the US that would now bring about different kind of colored people. But in BCY still we had brotherly and neighbors such as Twitch, Duke, people from Lake States coming to as observers into our election. So we did the normal registration of voters, verification, distribution of voter registration cards, which of course all these fall in the constitution of the Boer Community Youth Association. We also went to the level of being able to do the normal casting of ballots, and there was a deadline, and do the casting, we did the tallying. All these had observers. It was a transparent manner, and I think for Boer, they took it to the next level. They had about 6 different cameras taking a recording of every single step that was taken during the vote counting and tallying. I think that was a little bit unique, and because of that, it helps in an event where any of the candidate claims to have maybe lost an election unfairly and so forth. So that became one of the most transparent, and effective and efficient election that we've ever done. So I think it was great. There was a lot of open space in terms of civic space. We did a lot of campaigns. We did a lot of engagement, consultations, rallies. I think it was just an amazing. So same also because we also sent an observer to the Twitches election in Duke elections, and they were of course of the same caliber, and they were really amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Deng. Let's hear from the perspective of it.
Yes. Thank you once more. Elections in across the 3 counties has resemblance in terms of structures and in terms of organization. To an extent that if an individual association want to be creative, they went further and to invite or actually to bring in new ideas, like for example what he said about the cameras within the room where they were doing the tallying. For us in Twitches, it is about institutional order and institution building. Our people have accepted that institutions are they are respected institutions of the IEC and institution of the Twitches Youth Association. So we are trying to build institutions where we believe whatever they do and they give to the people is the best thing that nobody would actually want to challenge. But there are no, for the, actually that this was the 5th election. I became the 5th chairman. So we have had this tradition of transparency, credence in election, proper organization, to the extent now in the last 3 terms it was actually taken to the next level, where now the South Sudanese are beginning to have feelings for what is happening in Twitches and what is happening across other counties, for example, Bor County and the Twitches. So there's nothing that has stood out different from the elections that we have carried. We are actually trying to monitor each other and compete in a good manner, in a neighborhoodness. That principle is very important. If Twitches have done it in a better way, the Bor County want to push themselves. So we are pushing ourselves in building democracy, trying to build our communities and our people and our young people to believe in institutions and to accept. Even when you lose election and you have doubts, you thank to you say, okay, it is an institutional issue, next time I will come back. So this is the message we want to send to the nation, that we are there for a purpose. We want to let people learn and draw from our perspective and from experiences. We are doing very good there.
Okay. Yes, Elijah, I want to know from you, what difference does it make when you are an elected leader? And is there any pressure that comes in terms of responsibility or accountability, to deliver with reference to your manifesto?
Yeah, Barry Johnson, I think the element of democracy comes with a lot of responsibility. Because if you are an elected leader, then you are elected based on the principles and the objective that you outline in your manifesto and what you promise your particular constituency in this sense. And you have to be held accountable as a leader to deliver on what you promise to your community. And that comes as a responsibility, not necessarily a pressure, because you said it yourself and you're a leader and you're prepared for it. So therefore, you were already prepared to ensure that you deliver on your promises. So it's actually a pleasure in terms of having known that your community or your constituency gave you that opportunity to be able to deliver and lead them at that particular moment. And then it's upon you, because it's imperative upon you to ensure that you deliver on what you've said, and also the question of accountability by making sure that you deliver on your promises and you're monitored and you have questions. That's the whole principle of democracy. In a setting where you're not an elected leader, that's where you can decide on whatsoever you wanted to do, because no one will question you, because you came through a process that was not really democratic in a sense.
Yes, Deng, let's also hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, it's a very important principle to follow as a leader. Accountability brings stability to institutions, and actually it creates trust in leadership. So, an accountability is not only resources-wise. It is about your words as a leader. What have you said in the campaign when you were engaging the masses, when you were canvassing for votes? What did you tell them? So when you become a leader now, it is a time when you need to implement what you have said earlier. So that is the first accountability. A lead that faces a leader before even you hold resources. So when you hold resources better, it is a convergence of what you said earlier. So accountability is one of the main issues that faces our government, that our government faces most of the time, our people locally or in the community level, or even in the churches. So it's something that we have to culturally accept, that we must account to our people, count through words and account through resources, and account also when you deliver. This should be a real thing to adopt. There's no good governance without accountability. And even when we have, and even this election we do, like what he said and what I'm trying to present now, it is all process of accountability. The time you are called to put in your papers, because there are requirements there. In our case, you are supposed to have a degree for you to contest for the position of a chairperson or 3 years youth association. So that is accountability. You come there, you put it is there. You also pay money, non-refundable fee. It is accountability. You also make sure that you win. That is accountability in terms of how much you put in the election. So accountability has different perspective and it has different meanings. But accountability is very important in nation building. Yeah.
Okay. Also, Deng, what do you believe is the most urgent role young people must play in building a peaceful and united country or united South Sudan? And how can young associations like yours lead that change?
We are in what we call post-election, post-violence or conflict. We are trying to do restructuring of our communities, whereas now we have so many people outside the country. We have refugees. Many of our people are outside South Sudan. We have IDPs, like in my case, I have people here in Central Equatoria. I have about 68,000 people in Mangala. I have 128,000 in Awarial County, in the neighbor to this county. And these people, for them to believe and to be put together, and us to do a role, for example, peace building, or do a role like conflict, like cohesion, peace building, and those things. It is very difficult. So what we need first now is stability, where all the South Sudanese people are back in their rural homes, so that we'll be able now to engage among ourselves. But the first thing, we don't wait for our people to come back. It is our role now to make sure that we embark on calling for peace across the villages, across the bomas and payams. That's the first thing young people should do, because our young people are now subject to conscription. They are into criminal activities and into tribal wars. So it is our first role and the first agenda young people should do is to make sure that they abandon those vices, come back to production, they produce food, and then they go to the market, whatever type of market they have. So I believe what we can achieve as young people, as leaders. It is our urgent role now to call for peace among ourselves. Like for our 3 counties, we have never fought ever since. There is nothing that has come to make us fight. And we believe in that spirit. But across the border, we are having problems of raiders, cattle raiders, and even child abduction. So we want to extend to our neighboring community to adopt this culture, to abandon this kind of savagery around the area, and enroll in building common places like common market. For our case, we are cattle keepers. So our neighbors also are cattle keepers. That is the common commodity for the market. So we want to extend our call for peace, call for cohesion, inter-tribal discussions on these matters, and that is what we are embarking on now. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Elijah, let's also hear from you.
I think, Barry, one of the things that I would have loved to influence the policy decision in South Sudan about the element of thinking that youth-related or issues that affect youth actually affect 75% of the people. Even in your own family, if anything affects 70% of the family, that family is gone. Honestly speaking. So talking about looking at more than 72 or 75% of the total population being young people, in a sense, it also dictate that the remaining 25% are either made up of children or elderly, out of which we can also dictate that if the children out that are less than the age of 12 going downward could be roughly 10 or 15% of that, because they are mainly looking at the life expectancy of South Sudan. So I think out of the 25%, the other 20 could be the youngest out of all, which of course will then grow to youth. So if anything affects this size of the population, that is a national crisis and a national disaster. So in a sense, I believe the role of the young people in this country is immense, and it is the role of the citizens. It's not only the role of the youth, because we make up about 70% of that. What role do we play as young people in nation building is a question that brings in a lot of conversations around it. One is the urban level, and also the rural level, the rural areas. We have a lot of things. But one common agenda is to make sure the young people understand that they can grow without peace. And if there's a peaceful environment, this is where now the innovation and, the production in terms of agriculture, those who are doing cattle keeping, animal husbandry, those who will be acquiring skills and technical skills, which is actually the biggest part of the problem, which I'll come in a second, will have now an opportunity to be in a position to really prosper in a sense. So what really needs to be done right now, and the role of BCY in this sense, is to ensure that we promote young people access to economic empowerment opportunities, and such as technical skills, being able to get vocational skills such as carpentry, plumbing, masonry, name them. And then when they are able to get to the market and be in a position to earn their own living, then they could be able to run their household affairs and the family level and have something to engage with. Anybody that has something to engage with and have some level of resources that could actually help sustain their life and livelihoods, such people are rarely engaged in criminal activities and the issues of niggers and so on and so forth. I mentioned in the International Youth Day the other time that we're doing a small research, and we found out that in Juba, so far we've found out about 74 groups of what they call them, the niggers,
the gang groups.
The gang groups. All the way from Good Boys in Jebel Suwa to Sharikat, everywhere. They're like many of them. On average, you find between 400 and 500 kids in such groups, and if you do that much, you will see what that means. And these are a group of young men and women, and girls in this age, who have better hopes for future and aspiration. They will have different impact to our society, and once they are actually driven to the right direction, which become the role of organizations like ours, and the role of leaders, elected leaders like us, is to ensure that we're able to engage them, and then we give them better skills that will enhance their lives and livelihoods, to be able to choose better ways of living and better ways of lives, to enhance their capacities and their families. So overall, looking at it from the perspective of the youth organization, that is the little we can do. But if you look at the wider picture, it's a policy-related issue, and it's something that the government needs to take up role in it, because these are government people. And the government needs to come up and put up infrastructures and institutions that then help the young people to engage in the education. Look at the primary school system now. Much of which now are private, much of which are very expensive, and the government institutions are very few and do not have capacities or facilities to be in a position to absorb many of these young people that are school-going children within the age bracket of those going to primary school and high school. So we really call upon the government, because this is a primary responsibility of the government. As associations, we come in to fill the gap where the government is overstretched in this sense. But if you look at it from the current context, you will find that there seem to be a lot of things lacking from the government side of things. Look at people that completed the high school. How long does it take to mark the examination for high school? How long does it take to re-engage them so that they are able to be enrolled in institutions of higher learning, higher education? So if you look at this, there is complexity around the policy, there's complexity around the government role in this sense, and this is what we are trying to fill desperately, because we feel that our communities need these young people to be able to grow and become better citizens for our own communities and to the entire nation.
Okay. Also, Elijah, let's look at the theme for this year, for the International Youth Day, which talks about local action for the SDGs and beyond. So I want to know from you, what is your take on this theme? And among the 17 SDGs, which one stands out the most for you, and why, and how can it be achieved faster?
Yeah, when we talk about sustainable development goals, these goals, looking at them with the lenses of the international community and how it is, the indicators on which they are measured to be able to be achieved within by 2030. So it's a tricky part of it, and more specifically challenging for South Sudan, because the indicator tracking for South Sudan has been something quite challenging, and I think it has also been maybe the Inception report. That's the only part of it that has indication that happened in 2017. But if you look at the current data and statistics, being able to monitor how we are doing in terms of sustainable development goals, it's something that is quite vague in a sense, and we are not able to capture right data that we can present to you right now, Patty Johnson. However, I believe, as far as my association is concerned and my community is concerned, our biggest way of looking at it, we've been looking at 4 quite large, or 5 in this sense, goals. One of it being sustainable goals, number 1 on issues around poverty, and eradication of poverty has been a key priority to us as a community, and we've been encouraging our communities to get back home, settle back home, do some bit of farming. And for the last 2 years, the level of productions and the level of cereal deficit in our community have not been like the past 5 years. And that is a great achievement, thanks to our community members who have heavily invested in that. And what brought that change is that there is some level of mechanized agriculture that is going on now in Bor County. With many members of communities are able to maybe generate some resources and hire tractors, so that the fields are now a little bit wider than what they used to be 5 years ago. So that have helped in terms of, that have also improved the level of production in Bor County. If you look at WP and FAO reports on FSNMS and the IPC, you will find that Bor County now sits at about IPC 2, which is the stress level. We are at the level where we no longer at the emergency level, or crisis level, or emergency level, or even the protracted crisis at the level of catastrophe. So if you put us at the ICP level 2, which is the tool that is used by the international organizations to measure the level of hunger in the country, you will find that Bor County is at a bit lower level as a result of what transpires in that sense. Also, something that have also improved on our side is on the Sustainable Development Goal number 4, which is on education. The literacy rate within Bor community has been growing, and that have actually shaped how we operate. I do not have static figures, but definitely from the 2021 statistics as a community, our literacy rate was standing at about something between 83 and 89% of the total population, which of course is almost a reciprocal of what it is at the national level. So that is something that we've heavily invested in. We find that members of our community, and the same thing happened also with our sisterly counties of the former Boer district. You find that Twitch East and Duke also, the level of literacy was also quite high in that sense. It's something we've invested in as a community, both abroad and locally here, and even back at home. So the issue of the stronger institutions is something the Sustainable Development Goal number 16 is what we're trying to invest in now, looking at building institutions that could actually help in terms of governance. Like this, the BCYA now is one of the institutions that try to promote democracy and promote good governance, and you know, we've already built other systems. We have commissions, we have small community initiatives that help build the community structures in a form that it becomes self-sustaining, and the community becomes self-reliant and be able to move with or without the government support.
Okay. Yes, Deng Jr., let's also hear from you. Which sustainable development goal stands out the most for you, and how do you think it can be achieved faster?
Well, thank you so much, Baria. The continent has been talking about the SDGs and how they could be implemented. And little has been achieved in warring countries like South Sudan because we have been dictated by the problems that we are facing, particularly the war and intra-state wars, like what is happening 2013 and 2016. So our government and partners have not been able to interact properly and to track the indicators and actually to put correct measurement of what is achieved and what is not achieved in terms of SDGs. But of all the SDGs, they have been, the United Nations has been there to expand them. They are very beautiful things. If you look at the blueprint, if you look at what is described there, they are very beautiful. They are very good for studies, they are very good for speaking in conferences and so forth. But one element stands out for me, that is education. You know, education can can be able to equalize everybody. So if we have the environment that enables us to take our children to school, we'll not be talking about justice or about equality, because its education itself equalizes everyone. So you will have children, girls and boys going to school all together, and they aspire to be what they want to be because they have the skills and they have the knowledge, and they will not be segregated or discriminated in the job market. So you will not be talking about institution building if people are educated and they are employed, or the growth in the employment is based on meritocracy. So I am there to tell the people that let's put effort in linking the education to all the aspects of our life. For example, I've been working with the UN, but I've been telling this. I've been talking to my bosses at the UN before I left the job. I was the liaison officer of the UN resident coordinator. I've been dealing with these SDGs. But what happened is that there is what we call counterproduction in implementation of the SDGs. You see that Ministry of Health is implementing education policy. You see also the Ministry of Education, two ministries are implementing the same. You go across, because there are cross-cutting, and the issue of gender equality comes in there, and it is cross-cutting of all the institutions. But every institution is implementing, and the United Nations are giving money. The United Nations gives money to this institution, and they don't ask, how can we implement the same thing? The issue of gender equality is implemented by the Ministry of Gender, which is actually a problem of education. If you look at it and you study it and you get the data, the problem of inequality is a problem of education because our people are not educated. So take children to school, take girls to school. When they graduate, they will compete in the market equally. The same thing to people with disabilities. The only thing that can equalize them with the rest of the population of the populace is education. It is education that can create an environment, an ambience of love, an ambience of care, an ambience of prosperity among all the human beings. It is where we can create good institutions. The other one is about the environment, especially the climate. I'm coming from a county which is affected by climatic change, particularly floodings. So I come from Twigis. Twigis has been underwater for the last 15 years. We have not been able to produce. We don't have cash crop now we are producing. Our cattle have been swept away by the flooding. Goats are no longer there. Even children, the death mortality is high. You see, women are dying because across the country, health services are being constricted and truncated by lack of service providers because of flooding. So you have one city, you have a Panyago, which is the headquarters, but the other farms are very far. To reach them by boat, this boat or canoe can take time for a pregnant woman. Sometimes we lose them on the way coming to the main hospital, to the PHC. So a climate issue is what I can present as one of the pressing issues. Now, Twigis has become a beggar in terms of assistance because we are not producing. So we are asking the UN to bring to help our people. LWF, UNHCR, and the UNDP to provide food. The only thing now we are benefiting from the natural disasters we are having is fish production. That's the only production we are having, which is not even quantified or even having quality control. If you could go now to Twigis and you come to the board, which is the headquarters of the state, it is not properly controlled. So it is wastage in the first place, and it is not helping our people because the market is not open. Our people are transporting it to Arua, to Uganda and to Congo, which also does not reach the final market in a good form and cannot bring good profit. Now internally we don't have roads to transport it to the bigger population of South Sudan, which is the Bahr el Ghazal. You cannot take it to Rumbek, you cannot take it to Wau, you cannot take it to Tony, to Awil, to Abiy, and to the Raja. This is where the population of South Sudan is, and they are not accessing this. So if there is a way that environment is improved and our people get back to their homes, they will be able to produce for themselves, bring food and local commodities to the market and support themselves. When they have surplus, they will be able now to invest in businesses and get profit and prosper. So these two, one is affecting us, but one element of the SDGs is what we are trying to promote. Like you said, 89%, actually we are the most educated people in that region. Because we don't have cows. For them, they have a lot of children still going to the cattle camp. We can pride ourselves on that because that is a source of resources, source of money, and source of pride. But in another way, majority of kids are going back to the cattle camp, and the years where they would be going to school is wasted. Is put on the wastage on their side. So we are saying also, we are telling our neighbors and our sister county to make sure we keep cattle, but if there is a way government brings school closer to cattle camps, it would be better, but I don't know if it can happen. But that is where the pride is. They have resources. He is right. On the other side, when you go to the the southern part of Bor, this neighboring the Bari community, it is dry. But if you go to the north part of Bor, to Twigis, it is flooded. It's full-time flooded. And those people have been, they have come out of their land and they are no longer producing. So this is what they are facing as communities, and they are here with us at the suburbs, in the suburbs of Juba, in Chirkati, in Gulele, and everywhere. And this pressure, they create what we call urban pressure. And this leads to what we call now Crew, Toronto, and the rest of the gang. People, including young girls, now have been absorbed into these vices. It is an issue of the environment. It is an issue of the population that has been displaced by environmental factors.
Okay.
So let's go to school.
All right. Okay, education, very important one. Yeah. All right. Yes, listen of iRadio, this is your chance to call in on 0911 or 0922-986-986 and ask our guest in the studio your question, and they'll be able to answer them. Also, those who are following the program on our Facebook live stream, you can drop your questions and comments there, and I'll read them to our guest in the studio. Remember, with me in the studio is Elijah Manyok, who is the chairperson-elect of Bor Community Youth Association, and also I have Deng Junior, who is the chairperson of Twitch East Youth Association. نعم مستمع اي راديو، انت عندك فرصة عشان تتصل تليفون وتسأل ضيوف حقتنا في داخل الاستديو السؤال بتاعك. احنا اللي قاعدين نتكلم عن دور بتاع الشباب في بناء الأمة، كيف شباب ممكن يبنوا جنوب السودان. اتصل لنا في 0911 أو 0922298686. اي راديو.
Yes, Barry Johnson, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Tell us your name and where you're calling in from.
You're speaking to Simple Man. I'm calling from Jebel Amien.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. You know, the last speech of Deng Junior was really nice. Let's go to school. Like that. You know, education is the only key we need. And as both of you are the leaders of youth from Duke Tree and Bor, the only inspired message I want to tell all of you is that let the youth go to school. Whoever that is still in school, inspire them so that they cannot give up. And then there's this issue of administration. This thing is going especially to Bor County youth leader who is Elijah Manyok. There's allegation of corruption that has already been come up about this system of your governorships. This issue of money that have been lost from the girl fund money. And there's also another allegation that is coming up about the Land Cruiser that you have been donated. This has already been taken back and all these things. So can you explain to us what is going on already in your system? Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Simple Man from Jebel Amien. Yes, Elijah, you want to respond to him before we pick more calls?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Mr. Simple Man from Jebel Amien, I think he has some good points that need clarification. One, of course, he has a very good encouragement, which of course echo what my brother Deng Jr. had mentioned before, the question of encouraging youth to go to school, which is something that us at Bor County, we're very good at it, and we've in many cases. Actually, what happened with us is that as a community, we've invested in education, and we've decided not to lose our identity, and we've decided not to lose our culture, and that's why you find that there was a very important clip of a young wrestler in Bor that spoke fluent English after the wrestling match, and when he came out, you might have got it on Facebook for many people. He came out later on and spoke very fluent English, and you will find that many of these wrestlers and the people, most of them who are even in the cattle camp now, you find that are very educated people who have gone to schools, many of which are students at various universities, and some of them at high school level. So what really is that we take pride in our culture, we take pride in our identity, and most of the time you will find that even myself at some point I own kettles, and I can sometimes go to the cattle camp, and that does not remove the fact that I'm highly educated. So it's a question of really trying to make sure that that does not stop, and also creating opportunities to us now is to create opportunities for those who are coming from humble family background to be in a position also to access better education or technical skills. On the issue of the allegations that are coming up, of course there are things that I cannot answer, and there are things that I can answer. If you look at the issue of talking about the girls things at the BCYA. I am a chairman-elect and have not taken office, so I really don't know what's happening within the offices of the BCYA when it comes to the issues of finances and the issues around what's really happening there. I'm also hearing like simple man, so when the time comes to I receive my handover, I should be able to know exactly what it is and I can provide concrete answers in that. The question of Land Cruiser, maybe the other team that lost, maybe, I don't know, maybe they've not, because the Land Cruiser my Land Cruiser was handed over to IEC on a live show, like the whole world, so the keys was picked over by IEC, and I don't even know where it is right now. And the one I offered, the one my colleague offered, I cannot speak for him, and maybe that is where the question might be. But for the one that we offered as Board Development Alliance, that one was offered even before the election itself, because that's what the rule requires of us, to ensure that we submit what we have promised to the community before the election. So that's how I can answer them for now.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you so much. Yes, early on, both of you highlighted some of the few challenges that young people face. I just want to give each one of you a chance to also share how can they be overcome, and what opportunities do you see there for young people. Yes, then let's hear from you, then we go to Elijah.
Yes, thank you once more. Young people have a lot of challenges. You can mention a lot of them, but what young people are facing now are issues to do with finances, how to pay themselves in the schools, especially in higher institution. They might be struggling at a level, families struggle and pay them at primary and secondary school, but they end up not going to universities. So because now there is differentiated admission at the university, there is government scholarship and there is private, the private one. Majority, for those who do not get the cutting mark of the government, they end up not going to the school, and when they are not going to the school, they become susceptible to vices, economic vices. And they will join drugs, gangs, and robberies, and in terms, actually, it's very unfortunate when it's come to female students. When doors are closed, what comes to them are big girls in town. They act like parents in disguise. They take them to the market for them to survive. So and they have this saying that if you are healthy and you are able to make somebody happy, then survive. You see, so these slogans of some rock groups in the city, they are also taking part in destroying what we could harvest in the future in terms of young people. So education is the main problem, the challenge, and the lack of resources, particularly financial muscles, to take these kids to the school. You know, Juba, the way it is inhabited now, it is another problem also. Juba is, people are settling in Juba in communities, ethnic settlement. You see that the Azandia in Munuki, you see the Dinkas, they call that what they call the Jebel the Awil people. You will see the lone group, they call it what, I referendum. You will see the many group of Nuera there. In Cherkad, you will see many of us are there, the Boer, the Twitch, the Nyarweng, the Duk, and the rest. So this type of settlement actually do not help in cohesion, in building cohesion among ourselves. Nobody knew it was going to turn out like that, because the policies, national policies on fiscal, land distribution and ownership is there, the law is there, but implementation has not been done. So everybody is settling in the city where the kings are. And this affects us a lot. People are not interacting as nationalists. They would come and interact now here. And national, we see now you are a colleague, a national colleague. But where you are now, maybe your neighbors are commonly speaking the same language. So that one is a deeper one. We call it ethnic symbolism. It's very dangerous in terms of nation building, and in terms of building a national youth. So we don't know, we don't have answer for that. But what those things that we have answer, like going to school, we want to talk to parents, and we want to talk to people. Now there are no salaries, and even now, if you go to the bank, you will see your money is in the account, but nobody will give you what you want. It is yours. In commercial banking, somebody will give you 200,000 if you are looking for 1 million to come and pay your child in the school. So complex challenges are trickling down to the families at the grassroots level. And when it's come like that, who is going to take children to school? Nobody, because they will not be able to. So we are asking, it is compounded. We have simple problems that we would help as youth leaders, but when it's come down to economic downturn like this, we will not be able to take children to school. For example, in my case, I have inherited about 23 students. I have 8 at the University of Juba. I have 8 in primary and in secondary school, and have the rest in primary. And this, the previous government, they have been paying. Now, we don't have money to pay them. Recently, I was given an invoice from my school that they wanted us to pay $1,500 for pupils in the primary. Now, when we went to the bank to retrieve the money, to take the money, they were telling us that, you will give you $200. And they advise us that unless you go to other branches and you take 200, and they have 2 branches in Juba. So that means a day you will take your $400. If there is no dollar, you will take 200,000 pounds. So these are complex challenges that are trickling down to the communities, and children are going away from the school. Lastly, on the crew, we will work as a team, because Elijah and Engineer Mamer will sit and we will design a mechanism, a formula to track, to do what we call snowballing, in identifying those who have joined the crew and the gangs. In their community, they will be able to know. In my community, I will be able to know. And when we bring them together, we will ask NGOs and UNs and associates to donate to us to make sure that we rehabilitate them. And we speak to them, and we bring church, the clergy, to come and pray for them, maybe. And then later on we take them back to the society. If we have something little to invest in them, we will tell them to go to the torch area. You know torch area, what it means? Torch. To the swamp, in the Nile Valley, we call it torch, where people go and fish. They will go there. If they have money, they go by themselves. They fish, they come and sell it. Here, the dry fish, so they can sustain themselves. But now the economy is the one that is the main challenge, challenging issue. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to give Elijah the opportunity, and also you can also share it with your final message to young people, because we are left with a few minutes to conclude.
Thank you so much, Barry Johnson. To me, at the Boer community, there are many challenges, as my brother Deng Jr. mentioned, but 4 key things stand out. The issue of access to basic education is a challenge. The issue of lack of technical skills that could help the young people get to the job market is a challenge. The third challenge is a question around the health of the young people, looking at factors such as the HIV and AIDS among the young people, looking at the mental health of the young people by themselves. You find that some young people that take their lives as a result of overwhelming pressures that they face in different areas of this Juba and some other areas. And the fourth one, of course, being the issue of economical, in this sense, lack of jobs. Because if you see the current economy of South Sudan, and what are the opportunities for jobs in this case, I think definitely you will know. I'll take a clear example of a radio market, job market in the radio or the media world. How many radios do we have in Juba? And compared to the ratios of journalists that could be existing, those people that have studied journalism in that sense. So you find that the job market is quite saturated because of lack of better opportunities for young people. So what are the solutions that we're proposing as Bor County Bor Community Youth Association? We are proposing some few things that we're trying to do, but overall, just to maybe cast the bigger board, is that it has everything to do with the government responsibility and the policies, and government being in a position to provide better education, better healthcare for the young people, including the mental health programs, better access to technical education, and then creating of jobs opportunities, either in terms of foreign direct investment or investment in other production area where it can absorb a lot of young people into the working workforce. So, but at our little level as BCYA is that we have for the children the overall advocacy at the county level to ensure that all the kids have access to equal education, and specifically trying to engage more on how to promote the girl child education in Bor, and also make sure we have our young people have access to equal opportunities. In an event where we have members of the community that are extremely vulnerable, that they cannot really support, we came up with an institution called the Martin Majergai Scholarship Foundation, which is one of a program that we have under the BCYA that sponsors some of the very needy, much needy children. So far, we have about 37 that we got from the previous leadership, and I have actually within my own networks during my campaign promised to add about 22 more scholarships to this what we have, and we are hopeful that we are going to get more as we ensure that those who do not have access to basic education get access. The second solution that we have to the second problem is that at the BCYA we promised to establish a vocational training school, technical school that will now, because we felt that our population is growing, and if we continue to try and send our children to different school, it will be expensive for us in the long run. So it's better we invest in the infrastructure to have the actual school, so that we have now the children of the most needy taking over, and this crew, and when they are rehabilitated and they are brought back to the technical school so that they learn new skills that could help them survive in the market, and then we send them to the market, and then they are reintegrated back to the society. So we are establishing for ourselves a vocational school. The third solution, of course, to look at the health and the mental health related issues, and specifically on issues around HIV and AIDS among young people, we've established a health secretariat within the BCYA that will then now have a lot of different programs, which of course we'll be happy to connect them with you in the near future, so that they are able to create more awareness to our community members and young people, and work together with technical organizations to ensure that they support our people in terms of mental health and regional health. Finally, on the economic part of things, the issue of jobs. When I was campaigning, one of the things that I mentioned, and which I believe I'll implement, is to ensure that I encourage a bit of mentorship to our youth, young people that are coming out of the universities, to be in a position to really interact with the members of Bor community that are working in various entities, UN agencies and so on, so that they are mentored and given opportunities to really see things from a different perspective, so that they are able to have the edge in terms of access to jobs and to job market, and be in a position to be competitive enough to get more jobs.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Elijah Manyok, chairperson-elect of Bor Community Youth Association, and also Deng Jr., the chairperson of Twitch East Youth Association. And I would love to appreciate Grace Amviko, our sign language interpreter, for today. We meet again in another discussion next Saturday. That was an interesting one today, but time was not enough for us to discuss more. But we look forward to having you guys again here on the program. From me, Barry Johnson, have a nice evening, and we link up again next Saturday.